May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we are shining a light on how a nonprofit, Project Unbroken, is changing the path for children navigating profound loss and helping them find healing, connection, and hope. So founder Trina Ruffino joins me now to share how their organization is providing critical support in transforming grief into resilience for young people. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Erin. Thanks for having me.
So glad to have you here. So if you can, I know I kind of broke it down a little bit, but I'd love to hear from you. What exactly is Project Unbroken, and why is it so important?
Of course. At Project Unbroken, we serve children who've lost a parent to suicide. Each year, roughly 2,000 kids in the state of Texas lose a parent this way, and they're 3 times more likely to die by suicide themselves. So it's imperative that we step in and help ensure that these kids don't fall through the cracks. So we provide financial, emotional, and spiritual support to help keep them going.
Wow. I think a lot of the times when we talk about suicide rates, we focus on just the person it affects, but we tend to forget the conversation of who is left behind, and this is incredibly important. And you say you're turning trauma into triumph, and so what does that journey exactly look like for children and families who you serve?
Well, so many of the families, as you can imagine, with this type of loss, there's a lot of confusion, shame, sometimes trauma. So often that grief turns into disconnection and isolation. So we really try to help them turn that grief into hope and healing by getting them back involved in normal routines, community, creating connections.
Yes.
So really just to keep them going with hope for a new day.
Can I ask you, what inspired this organization to come together? Was it a personal story maybe that you had or someone else had?
Yes, I lost my husband to suicide in 2018. My son was 15 at the time. And I discovered pretty quickly, as you said earlier, there wasn't a lot for the family left behind. And I realized there's just a great need here to help us figure out how to navigate that.
Yes. Well, this puts a strong emphasis on post-loss support, which you just mentioned, including financial assistance, which I think a lot of times we don't talk about that either. And so why is it such an important part to make sure that these families have help in that way?
Well, so many of the families, they experience this sudden financial instability in this loss. So whenever we see kids pulling back and not able to continue to fund, their sports, drama, camps, things like that, they tend to isolate. And medical professionals say you've got to keep your kids in a routine and keep them going. So that's why we provide the financial support to keep Johnny in baseball and Rebecca in band and whoever that is, like all these wonderful children that we're helping.
But to have a continuous routine, just like you said, to keep life going and keep a sense of normalcy as well. And also, I think you're right, it falls by the wayside, all those extracurricular activities, because we're so focused on this one situation. And just a couple of years, I mean, you've helped more than 100 families at this point. And so tell me what that personal impact is to take this hurdle that you conquered, and now it's a testimony for others as well.
Well, it feels amazing. So many thanks to our donors and my board for, helping us serve this many people. But there's still such a great need out there. But the best part is when you help one child, you're changing the trajectory of the entire family and potentially the next generation.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so what are some ways that we can support, that we can help out, how we can continue to push the mission forward right here in our community?
Well, obviously, financial contributions are so welcome. We have a lot of kids waiting for their summer camp call that they're going to be going to camp, so we're funding that now. And we also need to spread the mission and share awareness. If you know a family in need, please reach out to us at projectunbroken.org.
Let me ask you that. Let me expand upon that, because you've been in this situation. I think sometimes it's hard to ask for help, and that's the most important question. What would you say to someone who's out there maybe going through this situation, but they're just not in the spot yet where they're ready to extend that hand?
Yeah, I mean, if they're going through this, I would say breathe. It's living minute by minute, and give yourself grace, and do ask for that support. And others that are offering support, don't ask what the people need. Just show up.
Yes.
And be with them.
Just be present.
Be present.
And I think we can all do that. Thank you so much for coming on this morning and being vulnerable and sharing your story, but also passing it on to those who are affected by the same things that you've gone through. That is a true testament of jumping a hurdle and then spreading your testimony to others. So we appreciate you being here this morning. And you guys, this is an important resource. So check out that website down below where you can find so much more.